to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
There we go. Welcome, folks.
There we go. It's Gremlin City tonight.
Yes, it was tonight for me too, Jeff, as you know.
Yeah, I think I was on the phone with one of our guests. They had to reset their modem.
Oh, geez.
So we'll see how it works. Well, hopefully it'll work all right.
Yes, for sure. Well, we got a lot of stuff to cover anyway, so we can do that. I guess I should get started.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I'll get started right now. We'll get running with it. Of course, today's show is brought to you by your friends here at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And of course, the views and thoughts and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guest and member belong solely to guests and member, not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin.
True.
And the most important part is the purpose of Treasure Talk is to educate our members. It's to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting in all forms and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And that's what we're going to do tonight for sure, because tonight we've got like one of the tops in the treasure hunting world, don't we?
Yes, we do. We certainly do. They have been on before and will be on again. We hope. Was that a Christmas tree I see in the background?
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
That's a Christmas palm tree there.
Oh, it's a tree, so.
We can change the lights on it, make it white.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Christmas palm tree in the background, because, you know, Jeff, when I left the house, it's 59 degrees.
Well, that was our high today here. I mean, it's 59.
Yeah, so that's for us here. It's nippy. It was I couldn't decide whether to wear my Santa hat or my Mind Lab beanie, so I went with the Santa hat.
Santa hat every time.
Yeah, Santa hat every time. So
yeah, so it was a day. I had a little surgery today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had a cancer cut out. So
a skin cancer?
Yep.
Yeah, got to be careful.
They only went about 5 inches deep in my back. So.
Ooh. That sounds painful. Sure.
Yeah, so I can't even drink any wine. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you got the antibiotics going, I guess.
No, they told me not to. So I'm going to follow the rules for once.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Tomorrow.
Yes, there you go. You can make up for it tomorrow for sure. Well, let's remind folks that I guess it's next Monday night is December the 18th. It's the Myers Metal Detector Treasure Talk show.
Christmas special.
Christmas special, yes. And we're going to have all kinds of promos going. And we've got also tonight, we're going to use the new name picker, aren't we?
Live. Yep, they're all queued up. And for those that are watching right now, and I will announce it again in a few minutes, the key word that you put in the chat is hashtag Dinkum. DINKUM. Dinkum.
Dinkum.
Yep.
DINKUM.
Yep. Hashtag Dinkum.
Yes, and that's awesome. And if you win the prize, I was looking at the Treasure Talk Facebook page, and Sam Truckley, I guess, won last week, and she did a big picture and post. Always do that if you can, because it, just shows people we're doing our work here and we're getting things done. And thank you, Sam, for posting that. We appreciate
it. Definitely, and they're stacking up. So they're putting in the word, which is good, and I'll announce it in a few more minutes. And you never know when it's going to appear. So
yeah, it's random when Jeff does it. When the mood hits him to give away the prize, then we'll do it.
You'll just see it flash up on the screen. So
Yes.
And I'll announce it a couple times, so those that are a little late getting here, and that happens. But the hashtag Dinkum is the key phrase for the giveaway tonight. And what you're going to win is, let me grab it here, autographed by the author and his wife, KT.
Yes, and that is an awesome book.
Killer book, just an absolute killer book. If you don't like this book, you don't like nothing. This is a great book.
Yeah, you can't put it down for sure.
Nope,
it's
cannot.
One of those books you can't put down till you read the whole thing. And it's just an awesome book about a treasure hunting story, and it's true.
Well, you know what we ought to do, right? Just for, let's do one of the specials you've got for the Nocta. Let's run that. Okay. Then we'll bring our guests on.
All right, absolutely. Hey folks, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors. And today I wanted to show you some of the cool stuff that's coming with the Christmas specials from Nocta. And first off, the Nocta Legend, $6.79 for the Pro Pack. That you get the 2 coils, you get 11-inch, or actually it's a 12x9 now, and you get the 6-inch coil. But also, check this out. You get the AccuPoint pinpointer that pairs to your detector into your headphones. So no more pulling your headphone off to hear your pinpointer. This is an awesome product. I've tried one of these out, works excellent. Rechargeable battery. It's just an awesome pinpointer. You're gonna love that. Also in the Pro Pack, it has the starter kit that comes, of course, with the pinpointer, comes with the digger, comes with the fines pouch, and it also comes with a holster for your leg holster for the pinpointer too. So you can either wear that on your belt or on your leg. Either way, excellent product. So we've got them in stock now. I need your help, folks, because I've got 16 more of these coming in on Monday. So please tell your friends and digging buddies about us down here in Tampa, Florida. Myers Metal Detectors, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper. And thank you, Nocta, for an awesome product with the Legend. Works great on our beaches here in saltwater. You're going to love it. See ya.
Hey, he's verboten.
That was an awesome ad, but I hope I don't have another 16 coming in Monday, but I guess if I do, for sure.
Did you get up with Tom Becker today?
No, I have not. And Tom, is he on there, Tom? I'll holler at you tomorrow. We got something going with him. And I wanted to show this. This is this book here is, a small pamphlet, but man, does it have a lot of information on treasure coins.
Oh, yes.
So, and it's, of course, autographed by KT Bud Jones.
Yep. And I think let's just try to bring them in and see what happens here. And remember, everybody, the key phrase for the giveaway tonight in the chat, you have to be in the chat, is hashtag Dinkum. So let's bring on our guest tonight. And you never know, we may get a little glimpse of Dinkum. Who knows? Here is Sid and KT from Atocha Treasure Adventures. Hey, Sid.
Hey there. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's see if I can
You were right. Dinkum is here, actually. So there he is.
Well, we lost him.
That was easy come, easy go. That was fast.
Yeah, that was in and out. What are you going to do?
I saw Dinkum.
Yeah, they'll be back. They're having the internet troubles, I think.
Oh, I had it too. You know that, Jeff. I had 30 minutes it took me to sign on today. So
I don't know. Well, I guess it's the time of the year or whatever. I really don't know. But as for JBP Hobbyist, it's in the chat. Thank you for my Christmas poo. I like it very much. I think Phil's probably got his there. I got one.
There you go. All right.
There we go, Sid.
There we go. I don't know if it's you or me. I'm losing all of you, and then all of a sudden we all come back. So I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? KT's not joining us tonight. She's a little bit under the weather, so I'm going to have to do it solo. Well, solo is a big word. It's actually dink.
Well, I think he froze.
We lost him again. So go back to my Christmas poo. That's she says it's crap art for 2023, but I think it's cool art. That's
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Hanky for those who don't know who that is.
Well, that is a type of art, I guess, now that's going on. And just bear with us tonight. Sid is kind of in and out. So can you hear us now, Sid? We cannot hear him. And we'll be as much as we can in and out. There again, if you want to get in on the giveaway tonight, the phrase you put in is #Dinkum. So make sure you get that. There, Sid, can you hear us now? We cannot hear him. So, weird, huh? Well, let's try something here and see. I can always get this back. So, I guess, Philip, why don't you show some of the stuff we've got in the shop while we try to get Sid's
Mic working?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks like he's freezing and his mic isn't working. But I can, of course, talk about stuff here in the shop. Of this past week, and actually, I got a couple things in today. I got the Extreme Hunter in, and I have a
Yeah.
on here who I know is wanting to get that. I'm gonna ship it to her tomorrow, but I got that in, and that comes in the Deus. They put it in their hard case, the Extreme Hunter. Did we get Sid back?
Well, he's back. I don't know if we can hear him or not.
Nope. So I'm gonna keep going with the Extreme Hunter. If you're looking for large caches or deep targets, really deep stuff, that is the detector for you, because you use your remote from your Deus 2, you put it on that, and you've got a 2-box system that you can walk around and find really deep targets, way out of the range of our regular metal detectors.
Well, I'm looking at the chat, and John David put in, he spelled out hashtag. That is not the way to do it, John. You press the pound sign and then dinkum. That's what hashtag is.
Maybe Sid, your microphone might not be on right.
His microphone may not. I'm going to tell him to rejoin.
Yeah, sign out and rejoin. And in the meantime, I can chat about the Deus specials, because all these manufacturers have Black Friday specials, and I actually the Deus ones came the latest, and
Yeah.
I just got them in. So I've got the Deus 2 with the 13-inch coil, with the 11-inch coil, and with I guess that's a 9-inch coil. The small one, the 9-inch, Jeff. They go by 22 millimeters, but I believe that's 9 inches. I use the 11-inch coil myself. And I've got that in. Actually, you can get the Deus 2 with just a remote, no headphone, and it's $11.99 with a free MI6 pinpointer. So that's a Black Friday special, and I still have.
That's pretty good.
Yes, and then you could just add the bone conductive headphones or whatever headphones you want with that, and you've got an awesome detector for beach hunting or land relic hunting. I mean, it's just an awesome unit.
Now, Sid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got him back. Okay. Good.
Third time's a charm. Awesome.
Let's hope it lasts.
Yes, for sure. We've had all kinds of bugs tonight. So
That's
let's.
right. I can only drink water. I need to have wine on a night like tonight.
You picked the wrong night for this.
Yes, for sure. And folks, remember, if you got a question for Sid, just type it in the comments there, and Jocelyn or Jeff will catch it. We'll for sure.
I think we just lost you again.
Nope, you're good.
You're still here.
You're still here, and we still hear you. So you got Dinkum with you? No, we lost us. This is going to be fun.
It is, Jeff. It's the gremlins, the computer gremlins. Andrew T. Jocelyn just told me he wants to know what that XP case is behind me. Well, Andrew, that is the Extreme Hunter case. You know, and it's a 2-box detector that you put your Deus 2 remote on, and then you are set to go really deep for big targets.
Okay.
Caches and the such. I think Sid is back, isn't he?
Yep. Do you hear us, Sid? I don't think he hears us.
I don't think so. So anyway, that's what that is behind me. And like I said, I've got all the Deus 2 Black Friday specials are now in stock, believe it or not. I guess they were a little slow on the shipping on that stuff. And who else do we have here? What other questions? Or I could keep going with this. So what
Yeah.
type of bird do you have and how old is he or she? Dinkum, I can't answer that. That's going to have to be from Sid.
Sid, I don't know. I think it's a cockatoo, and he's pretty old.
Oh yeah, and it's a very pretty bird. And
Okay, Sid, are we up and running?
I hope so.
Okay, we have a question. What kind of bird and how old?
Dinkum is a sulfur-crested cockatoo, and he's 35 years old. He used to accompany us when we were working for Mel Fisher, working the 1622 fleet. So he has actually been out there watching us bring up treasure from the Atocha, from the Margarita, and from the 1715 plate fleet. So he's got a lot of seat time. He didn't particularly care for boats, but he put up with it. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was his favorite period of life, but he enjoyed being outside. And of course, with the noise of the boat, his screaming and carrying on, you couldn't hear it, which was kind of a good thing. So
yeah, probably so. Yeah.
So again, as I mentioned, KT's under the weather tonight, so it'll be Dinkum and myself talking about stuff tonight if the technology holds up.
Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So we had a question for Phil.
yeah, I saw that from Dirty Paul's Detecting. When are we going to have another treasure days at the shop? I don't know, but that's a good question. I'll have to talk to my boss about that because that's always fun. The treasure days here at the shop
Well, we had that one, and Sid and KT came over.
Yes, they were
and
there.
signed a bunch of books, and if we do another one, we'll get Sid and KT to come back over. We'll get Terry Shannon, Fred Banky.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a great time with everybody last time, and we really look forward to that.
Yeah, it would be fun for sure. And
yeah, I think the shop is a great place to do it.
Yeah, and a little cooler weather. I think it was hot then, wasn't it?
Oh, it was very hot that day. It was very hot. It was about 98, if I remember.
Yes. And we did another one one day. Was that was Fisher days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Fisher metal detectors.
Yeah.
And that yeah, so we'll have to do a different brand because they're just not bringing anything out unless they get something new that
oops, there it goes again.
Oh no.
I think we just lost you again.
For now. You're still good for now. I just had a question. How long did it take you to write the book, Sid? He's gone.
He's back. Are you back, Sid?
No.
Well, I'll tell the folks here, this book is an awesome treasure hunting book story. You know, it's just loaded with information, and I know for me personally, I want to read it all in one shot because it got you hooked into it.
Yeah, you can't put it down.
You can't.
And because everybody thinks that the search for the Atocha and the Margarita were all just it happened in a couple of weeks. Well, it took a long time, and there was an awful lot of work involved in that.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're still salvaging stuff today, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're absolutely right. I think
This
so. Yeah.
just was so much. So I hope Sid comes back on here so we can ask him about that.
Well, let's see.
Also,
Well, Sid, we got a black screen. So I don't know. Now, well, we see Sid, try rejoining again. This is going to be fun tonight, people. So let's see if we can get a message to Sid.
and the other book that KT had done, this one, if you want a reference guide for Spanish treasure coin, this is a good one.
Yep.
A little booklet, and it is packed full of information.
Okay, Sid, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Sadly, we
good.
keep dropping off after about 30 seconds or so. Everything goes away, and then I restarted, and then it goes away, and then I restarted, and yeah, we're obviously boring the audience with talking about it over and over again. So,
Well, that's all right. They're still here and they want to hear. And Phil, can you see that question?
Yes, Sid, what was the most dangerous dive while working with Mel?
And that was from Tom Becker.
there were several that come to mind. Not all of them were actually out diving for treasure per se. We had an old replica of a Spanish galleon as our headquarters, and that was in Key West back in the 1970s. And it was always hitting the bottom when the tide went out, and it would punch a hole in the bottom. The bottom was very weak anyway, and it would start to sink. And that was where the company's headquarters were, and they also had a museum there. So the divers would actually have to go in there at all times of the day and night once it started leaking and try to patch up the holes with hydraulic cement. And there was a time when I got stuck underneath the thing at night. The tide was going out and I didn't realize it. And I got underneath the keel, and the ship kind of settled on top of me. And I'm in the dark by myself, trying to get out from here to get out. So that was pretty exciting. I didn't do that too much. Some other times that we had with very
Well,
that went that one.
that was interesting, but that's in the book too.
Yeah.
About him being underneath the ship, having to repair the office, I guess, for the museum.
Yeah.
The replica ship that had holes.
I'm
in
back again, once again.
it.
Kicked off. Other times that we had issues were certainly when we had big storms coming up, when we had a lot of equipment that was down below. Trying to bring it up in heavy seas was obviously could be problematic. There was a time when we got a large hawser caught in the prop, wrapped around the prop of a large tugboat that we were using for excavating. And the propeller was about a 10-foot high propeller. It was pretty big. And the storm waves that came up on us were probably 8 feet. And it was lifting the stern of the boat up and then jamming it down in the water. And I had to go out and cut the ropes out that were wrapped around the prop before the tug could be moved. And so it was not only dangerous to do, but it was physically painful because of the noise of the tugboat coming down hard. The water was coming up underneath the stern of the tug, and it created kind of an echo chamber underneath the boat, and the whole boat shook and made this really loud noise when the waves came up underneath it, and I was just feet below that. So the noise plus the turbulence plus the up and down velocity of the tugboat going up and down in the waves was a pretty scary moment.
I would imagine so. Did you get that question from Andrew T. Phil? Do you remember what it was?
Was it the one about the case behind me? That's the extreme.
No. This was another one about for Sid about any other wrecks out there that do you think out near the Atocha or Santa Margarita?
Yes, there are a number of other wrecks that are out there. We did find the Henrietta Marie which was a English slave ship.
Uh-huh.
While we were looking for the Atocha, and we actually worked that wreck for a number of years and did a large recovery of the artifacts that were in that area. That was probably about, I'm thinking about 7 miles to the north of the quicksands area where a lot of the Atocha material came from. There was a Civil War era wreck that was scattered along the Atocha Trail as well. We nicknamed it the Copper Clad because there was obviously a lot of copper sheathing that was involved with it. There was a tugboat called the Bon Vent, which was sunk out there. And then, of course, don't forget the target ships and the other military munitions.
Oh, we lost him again. It
Did
just
we?
start getting good, and then the gremlins get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, but we have to ask him with the question. Yeah, he was asking if there was other ships out there, and he was telling us about that. And also, I saw a question go by. How long was he working that wreck site? And then my question was, they're still working it today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they are. Well, he is trying to get back with us. As soon as he gets back with us, we're going to do our giveaway. So if you haven't put in your phrase, it's hashtag Dinkum. So get that in. You got about 2 minutes.
And Jocelyn's repeating the question that Dirty Paul's asked if we're going to have another Treasure Days. And I told her, I said, I got to ask my boss.
And what'd she say?
She liked it. It was fun, except we just got to do it in cooler weather. That was my complaint. That was too hot that day. That was just.
It was very hot. Tom Becker made the comment, Sid is coming in and out like a fast tide. That is true. That is true.
Yes, it is.
So as soon as we get Sid back, get his video back, then we can do we'll do our giveaway.
We'll do the drawing. Yeah, and Moose and New York, Jocelyn just said about asking them about shark encounters. That's an interesting question.
Well, let's do this.
While we're getting him in.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're starting to collect. And let's do it.
So, Sid, are you back?
Okay, we got our winner. We got our winner, Raise Fines. So, Raise Fines, what you do is you send a name, address, and phone number, and your complete name, address, and phone number to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. Let me pop that up there for you. And we will get that to Sid and KT, and they will autograph the book, personalize it for you, and get it out to you.
All right, I'm back up with you again. I tried something else that should help. Let's see what happens here, okay?
Oh, good. We just had our winner, Sid.
Oh, good. Well, congratulations to, who was it? I didn't hear because I just got back online here.
Well, here's the winner was Raise Fines.
Welcome, Raise Fines, to the show. Sorry, we're having a little technical difficulties tonight, and congratulations on the book. I think you'll enjoy reading.
Oh, if he don't enjoy it, then he don't like treasure hunting. I'm going to tell you. So I will get that to you as soon as he sends me all his information. I'll get that to you.
Those who didn't win, they can go to our website and order them.
That's right.
So tell them that.
I am to remind you, Katie came out of her sickbed to tell me to remind you that those who didn't win can always check out the books on our website.
That's right.
And we got some questions here. So this one is from Luis Villarreal, and he says, did you all have trouble getting the rights to the fines from the wrecks, i.e. the government? Boy, is that a loaded question.
Yeah, that really is a loaded question. Yes, we, the wrecks that you're talking about, the 1622 fleet as well as the 1715 fleet sites, we had applied for and received Admiralty claims on, okay? It's kind of like staking a claim back in the old days, except this was under Admiralty law, which is a 600-year-old law between all the countries on the earth. So it was a very effective law. It was a means of controlling who got what, and make sure it was a fair and equitable scenario for the owners of the ships, for the owners of the cargo, and the owners or the actual salvors themselves. And so we operated under Admiralty law. However, governments sometimes get greedy, and there was a challenge to our Admiralty law claim. The state of Florida challenged it, and then later the federal government challenged it, particularly on the 1622 fleet sites. So we ended up fighting 25 different court battles with the state of Florida and the federal government over the ownership rights to the Atocha and the Santa Margarita, which we won every one. But it went all the way to the Supreme Court. So millions and millions of dollars were spent in legal fees. And as you can imagine, it was very taxing to the company and to the investors and to the employees to continually have to go through this. Very stressful. Any person without the Mel Fisher's stick-to-itiveness would probably have just dropped out, but Mel just didn't quit. So, and most of the crews stayed with him as well. So that's how we prevailed.
That's good. You see this other question, Phil?
Yeah, I got one before that one. That's a good one too. But this one from Dirty Paul's I thought was interesting. And she's writing, how long was the debris trail of the Atocha?
That's a great question. And the track of the Atocha is actually quite long. From the point on the reef where it first made impact as it was being blown in a somewhat northerly direction to where it first sank was about 2.5 miles. But then a second storm came along 1 month later that was a much bigger storm. The first storm that sank the Atocha and the Santa Margarita were actually probably pretty close to Category 1 storms. These storms did not sink the boats. They only disabled their ability to maintain control over the direction that they were going. They blew out the sails, they damaged the rudders. The ships themselves were still afloat. Unfortunately, they were pushed into shallow areas, and the Atocha actually hit the outer reef that parallels the Keys. And so it hit the reef and then sank not long after it hit the reef as it was carried further to the northwest. Once the Atocha had sank and settled on the bottom, another really big storm, a Category 5, came along about a month later, and that took a large portion of the Atocha and ripped it off of the bottom of the Atocha where the real heavy stuff was and carried it along a very long track, scattering material out of it as it went. And so the totality of the Atocha track is over 12 nautical miles long. It's a really long trail. That's not uncommon. These wrecks that sank in tropical waters that were sunk by hurricanes are more akin to high-speed airplane crashes rather than just a simple Mediterranean-style shipwreck where a ship 2,000 years ago was overcome by waves and it essentially sinks to the bottom completely intact. And so you've got a nice collective of artifacts kind of localized to one spot. These shipwrecks are very, very scattered. And the scattering can go through different kinds of seafloor features. It can go through very shallow sandy areas or no sand areas or deep mud. There's all sorts of features that the artifacts can be carried through, and that requires different kinds of equipment for surveying and excavating as well.
All right, and then the other question, I thought that one was a good one too, Jeff, from Scott Downs. He's asking, were any, or I can't hardly read that. Was any divers fired for stealing while salvaging?
I know of some folks who were working in the conservation lab that had tried to lift some coins, and as they were going through the process. And not only were they fired, but because the Admiralty claim that we were operating under, Admiralty was a federal law, so it became a federal crime to steal the material until it was adjudicated to us on an annual basis. And so it was not only a simple matter of stealing from the company, it was actually stealing from the federal Admiralty court. So they got in a lot of trouble if they tried to do
Well,
something.
good. They should have.
Yeah, they should have.
You see this question, Phil?
From let me see. For some reason, I'm having a hard time seeing tonight. This
I
one's
know
from
it's a good one. Sam Truckley.
Truckley. Do you have any issues with? Did you have any issues with pirates trying to steal the loot?
Yes, we did. That seems to have been a problem wherever we worked. There were, as long as you were having some form of success or the potential was there for success, there were always interlopers that were trying to come in and exploit the situation. So we did have problems early on with the Atocha, even before we found the main pile, or even the Margarita. We were having problems with a big company that came down with, they actually had superior boats and equipment to what we had, and they were trying to infringe on our Admiralty work area that we had applied for and received. And so we had some issues with them for a while, and we had some other people that came out after we found the Margarita while we were still working on the Atocha. We'd found more stuff on the Atocha. We hadn't yet quite found the main pile, but in fact, we were challenged out there, and a fellow came out with a go fast boat and thought he would intimidate us by shooting off guns in our general direction. He found that didn't work out very well, because one of the benefits of having an Admiralty claim was that because it was a federal claim, if we had any problems out there, the Coast Guard could be summoned and would come out and protect our rights to the claim. So the pirates were pretty quickly dispatched.
Good.
Yeah, imagine if you got the Coast Guard on your side.
Yeah, that's a big help. That's a big help. We were required under the Admiralty to keep weapons on board, but we fortunately never really needed to have them.
Oh, that's good. You see this one, Philip?
Which have you ever had any thoughts on searching the waters off of Oak Island?
Well, nothing personally that I've ever thought about that. I'm of course familiar with the Oak Island story. I think it was one of the first treasure stories that I read when I was a kid, was the story about Oak Island, and it's a fascinating story. Everybody has to admit.
A lot of wood up there.
Yeah, I read about it, and obviously a lot of folks have had their go at trying to solve whatever the mystery is without a huge amount of success. Currently, it makes I guess, an interesting television program for those who are still intrigued by the mystery. To answer directly, no, I've never really thought about working on the waters up there. Now, I'm a Florida boy, so I don't like swimming in cold water. So there was obviously plenty of other material down here that we could go after. So we've been localized to Florida, and as well as the Caribbean for our personal adventures. So however, if you're feeling pretty optimistic about your chances, go for it.
Well, that's what I say. There ain't nothing that you didn't lose nothing up there in that cold water, said that you need to go find.
No, that's absolutely true. I'd have to be, the way that we did it was that we always used hard information from our researcher. Dr. Eugene Lyon gave us great, valuable information. And so we had known targets to go after, rather than just kind of wildcatting all over the place in the hopes of finding something. Sometimes our operation seemed kind of like a wildcat adventure, but in reality, we were focused on known targets with known cargo, and that kept us really focused. So we knew what we were going after.
that helps too, doesn't it, Sid? When you're down there, if you kind of know the type of stuff you're going after, because some of it you just see a shape, correct?
That's correct. I mean, after anything's been sitting on the bottom of the sea for any period of time, it's obviously obscured. There's calcareous material, plant life, and animal life that grows on it or is associated with it, and it may sink down into the sea floor, and it becomes obscured that way. So everything's is in a transition, except for the gold. The gold isn't bothered too much by its immersion in seawater, being a noble metal, but everything else is undergoing a transition. And one hope for any of this type of material is that we don't leave this stuff on the bottom for too long, because nothing lasts forever underwater except for the gold. And so the other artifacts from shipwrecks, the really valuable artifacts that show how people lived in those days, that were part of the ship. Even the silver degrades in time. So shipwrecks are not a forever thing. They won't be the same 1,000 years from now as they are today. And you can see that with a more modern shipwreck, the Titanic, right? It's coming apart quite rapidly, and it's only been underwater, 100 years or approximately. So, in another 200 or 300 years, it might just be a rusty stain on the bottom. And all of the physical remains of it will just be reduced to rust or iron oxide. So if Bob Ballard had found the resting place of the Titanic 400 years from now, there wouldn't be much to see. A lot of the interest in the shipwreck probably wouldn't be as great as it is now, because you can actually see the wreck for what it is, and also artifacts have been recovered from it that you can go and see. So it humanizes the event a lot more when you can physically see where the people were.
Yeah, you know what they say. I've read a little bit about some of the wrecks on the Great Lakes that be in fresh water and very deep. That the wrecks, they look just about like they did when they went down, because of the absence of the salt water.
Well, I got my start in the Great Lakes diving up there, Lake Michigan, northern Lake Michigan. And I used to dive this place called Death's Door, which is where the peninsula of Wisconsin protrudes out into Lake Michigan. And there's quite a few old shipwrecks there. And just as you said, fresh water, different preservation level, certainly, than the salt water. But there are issues there now, too, in the fact that zebra mussels have been brought into the Great Lakes unintentionally, and they tend to degrade the artifacts now, which wasn't a problem before. So the freshwater remains are certainly better preserved than the saltwater remains. But once again, in time, everything kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sid, we've got a bunch of questions here, and I see the one from Tim, but how long were you on that wreck on the Atocha site? And is that still being salvaged today?
My wife Katie and I worked on that wreck, the whole 1622 fleet project, which includes the Margarita, of course, as well, for about 20 years. Now, were we on it 20 solid years? No, because we were working other wreck sites too along the way. And so though the Atocha and the Margarita were always principal sites that we worked to, sometimes we took breaks from those, for example, to go work on the 1715 fleet, or maybe we'd be doing survey work on some projects down in the Caribbean. But we would always return and continue working the Atocha and the Margarita as our prime sites. We worked a lot of wrecks during that time period, but the Atocha and the Margarita were certainly the ones we spent the most time on.
And are they still working those sites today?
It's our understanding that they're still going out on the sites. We were down in Key West, when was that? October, I guess it was. And they were still sending boats out. So okay. Presumably so.
Okay, cool. All right, this one is from Tim Naylor, and he's asking, what's your next adventure?
Well, life is a big adventure, and that's one of the beauties of this program here, because the Myers Detector detector group, you've got all sorts of great detectors for different kinds of detecting. And one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, not all the treasure that we were interested in was always just associated with Spanish galleons. And we also looked for other things as well and had some success with that. Remember, Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor happened on December 7th, which was only, a week or so ago, date-wise. And so when we were working out in Hawaii, we actually used our treasure hunting skills that we had developed working, doing research and doing recovery to locate a Japanese Zero that was shot down during the Pearl Harbor attack, and it had crashed on a remote, privately owned island, and no one knew that it was still there. And so we were able to locate that Zero wreckage and actually bring it back and place it in a museum out there. Lots of research had to happen about that. KT was very involved with the research on that, and I was involved with the logistics of trying to make contact with the owners of the island to get permission to go out there, and we actually pulled it off. And in the middle of all of that, we also met a fellow who had grown up on Oahu and was present during the Pearl Harbor attack as a young boy. And then in, I think it was March of 1942, most people don't know that the Japanese had actually come back to bomb Pearl Harbor again. It wasn't well publicized at the time, but actually two giant flying boat bombers we nicknamed Emily's flew from the Marshall Islands and came to drop bombs on Pearl Harbor and destroy the shipyards that were trying to repair the sunken ships, and also take out the fuel depots, which hadn't been touched during the original Pearl Harbor attack. They did not actually drop their bombs where they hoped to because of the weather that night. The island was overcast, and they had to drop their bombs through dead reckoning. And the bombs actually landed in the northern part of Honolulu, in a place called Tantalus. And we were trying, KT and I were trying to find where these bombs actually landed. And through research talking with this fellow who is now an old man, and correlating his personal experience, because he lived in Tantalus, not far from where the bombs landed, correlating his experience with other data, doing the research on, we were able to kind of localize where we thought the bombs would be. And then we went up to the area, and it's very deep, thick jungle, unlike any place that we'd ever had to search before. And we took metal detectors up there, and we actually found the actual bomb crater from one of the bombs. And we found, using the metal detector, we found shrapnel from the bomb. We even found part of the fusing detonation device on the front of the bomb, had kanji written on it. So these are great historical objects. Now, it's not Spanish gold or silver, but it doesn't matter. It's still historically important stuff. And so whether you're going out looking for relics or Civil War artifacts, or you're just looking for quarters on the beach, whatever your treasure is, that's what you're looking for, right? And so we were looking for bomb fragments, which is ironic, since working on the 1622 fleet sites, we were constantly digging up bombs from World War II, because those areas were bombing ranges during the whole war period. And so there's thousands and thousands of bombs, rockets, and torpedoes laying all over the seafloor. And while we were doing our surveys, we were finding them all the time and having to clear them out of the way. And we were always cursing every bomb or bomb fragment we had to look for. But now that we were in Hawaii looking for a bomb, we were really excited to find pieces of bombs, because these were historical bomb fragments that related to a very specific event that not many people knew about. And so it was great stuff to be able to do that again.
And you've got a book about that as well, don't you, Sid?
We do. It's called Before and Beyond the Niihau Zero. So we'll use that as a giveaway at some point too, if you'd like. Be happy to supply you guys one of those anytime you want. And if your readers want to read about something other than about Spanish treasure and want to look a little bit outside the box, it'll give them a little bit of intel about that.
Well, if you want to do it, Sid, I can do it right now.
Well, let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay, it'll take me a second here. We'll just use the same that we did.
Yeah, here's the book.
Now, did they do a movie on that one?
Well, they did. There was a movie done about it, but it was very poorly done. Not well, like a lot of Hollywood stuff. It just
Yeah.
was primarily Hollywood. However, there was a TV show. Some of your viewers may be familiar with it. It's a National Geographic show called Drain the Oceans. And last year they did a Pearl Harbor version of Drain the Oceans, and included in that was the story of the Nihil Zero, or at least a little bit of it. So the book will tell you a lot more.
Yeah, I think if it's the movie I'm thinking of, they showed the Zero landing in the water.
Yeah,
And
well,
not
not quite. Yeah, it didn't quite work out that way.
yes. And
So
yeah,
I wanted to mention that you can find, I mean, there are so many opportunities out there for folks with metal detectors. And you want to not only do research about where you're going, if you're looking for something specific, that the research is very important. And part of that research is making sure you've got the right equipment. Now, you guys at Myers Metal Detectors have all sorts of different types of detectors that some are better at other things than another. And if you know what you're specifically looking for, you guys can help them out, help the customers out with finding just the right equipment. We made the mistake when we were working in Australia. We went out to the Australian gold fields in Kalgoorlie and Coolgardie, and it looks just like the old West there, where you can imagine where they had a gold rush, and there's just mine pits, thousands of them all over the place. You have to be careful that you don't fall into a mine pit because a lot of them are abandoned, but they're still mining gold there. And we went out there with a pulse detector, and that area is so saturated with mineralized soil, there's no way a pulse detector would work. But I'm sure that some of the detectors that you have at your shop would be just perfect for something like that. So we made the mistake of not doing any research in that regard, and we came up with nothing. But if had we been equipped properly, who knows what we would have found there. They originally found alluvial gold in those areas. I think one of the biggest chunks, if I remember right, was almost 10 pounds of gold just laying on the surface of the dirt. So the gold mining still continues there today, and they're still finding gold there. Obviously, it would have been a lot easier for those early prospectors if they had had one of your metal detectors.
yeah, if they had metal detectors for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
so we've got a bunch of questions, and Jeff, are you doing that now? Can we keep?
Yep, and they got about 2 minutes before I'm going to spring it. The key phrase to put in the chat is hashtag dinkum.
Hashtag
So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes while Sid answers one more question, then we'll give away a book on the Nihil Zero.
Okay, and then this question was from Ray Fines, and is asking how are the sites monitored after you guys left the location? How would you make sure nobody jumped your claim or whatnot?
That's a great question. Number one, nature did the best part in keeping the site or discouraging people to go out there, because it's very difficult. The wreck sites, as I mentioned before, are scattered over a huge distance, and you have to have the right equipment, and that normally requires big boats with large, powerful engines and excavating equipment to go out and find the stuff. And you have to have very precise navigation and know exactly where you are. On the track of material that went from the Atocha main pile to the west, caused by the second storm, that trail was about 30 feet wide. So imagine yourself in the ocean, and you've got to go down a track that's 30 feet wide, and it's essentially invisible. You can't see anything from the surface. There's no visual objects that you can use to kind of fix your position. You have to know where you're going and where the wreck site actually is to continue through that and be able to excavate. Remember, we found 2 earrings, one 5 miles from the other along that track. So the physical nature of the site kind of kept other people from going out there and finding stuff, just if they were casually looking around or swimming or diving in our old holes. That's one of the problems. The other way is that the Coast Guard did patrol out there periodically. While we were heavily working on the sites, we were out there. We had boats out there almost all the time. But as time went on, we found it wasn't as necessary to have boats out there constantly. We were out there in the good weather, not the bad weather. And when I mean bad weather, I mean it would be hard for anybody to work out there. And so nature, again, kind of helped us in that regard.
Okay,
Let's do a giveaway.
there we go.
Let's go. Let's go. Ho!
I know that guy.
We know that guy. That is the Mumbles Man.
Yeah.
So he knows what to do. And we had a question from him too about the Nihao Zero.
Okay.
Did you see that, Philip?
Yeah, I did. Did I see it? Yeah.
I don't know if you did or not. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here we go. It says, are the remains of the Zero in the museum at Pearl Harbor?
Yes, they are. The remains of the Zero are there. Also, there is an intact Zero that's painted in exactly the same markings as the Nihao Zero was while it was still intact. And that's the first aircraft exhibit that you actually see when you go into the museum. If you've been out to the museum, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you're going out there at some point in the future, you'll know what to look forward to. Associated with the Zero artifacts are 2 plows and a Clee-Track tractor. And those plows were actually used to plow up that island to prevent the Japanese from using it in an attack predicted by Billy Mitchell in 1925. And you're going, how does all of this fit together? Well, when you read the book, you'll find out.
There you go.
Billy Mitchell was a huge aviation advocate, and he actually predicted in 1925 that America would be going to war against the Japanese and that the first bombs would land on Ford Island at 7:30 on a Sunday morning. He also predicted that the attack would be launched from Nihao Island, which is a remote flat island. He wasn't envisioning aircraft carriers, and one of his subordinates managed to convince the owner of the island to plow up his island to keep airplanes from landing there. So that's where the plows came in.
Interesting.
Yes, so before we get to this last question, the only one we'll have time for, TTJ Naylor Mumbles Man, you know where to send your name, address, and phone number to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. We'll get it to Sid. He and KT will autograph that book and send it to you. So I had a quick question. It'll be a two-parter, Sid. You guys are given credit for finding that Zero, I trust.
Yeah, our names aren't on it, but if you ask anybody out there, they'll
They'll tell you.
Okay, now here's the question from Surfside Dan. It'll probably be the last question of the night.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Sea Searcher, which works like a magnetometer, but can tell you if it's ferrous or non-ferrous target?
That's a piece of equipment that we have no experience with, so I can't tell you one thing or the other about it. The equipment that we used at the time, and we used most recently, we've used magnetometers for decades on the Atocha and Margarita and the 1715 fleet and other sites. And they were specifically just, of course, for ferrous metal. We also used ferrous and non-ferrous sea sleds, which were essentially like large detector loops that were on the bottom that rode on a sled that could detect like the detector that you might be familiar with. It would pick up ferrous or non-ferrous things, but I'm not familiar with the particular equipment that you're talking about.
Oh, cool.
Well, Sid, I want to thank you for coming on here. We had a rough start, but we hope you come back again for sure. It looks like
We'd be happy to. We'd be happy to, and I'm glad we were able to sort out the issue finally.
Yeah.
It was a little frustrating for everybody, including your audience.
If anybody wants books for the holidays, to go to the website.
Yeah, and KT's mumbling in the background from her sick bed that if anybody needs books for the holidays, you can check out our website, and we can get them to you that way as well.
And which is the website, Sid?
Is
It's Atocha Treasure Adventures.
AtochaTreasureAdventures.com.
.com. Yeah.
All
Yep,
right.
and you get everything you want there. We would certainly wish that KT would get better soon.
Well, appreciate that. She's just down for right now, and she was afraid her voice wasn't going to last for the whole thing, so she just thought she'd kind of lay back and let me take all the glory for tonight.
Sid, thank you for coming on here and sharing your wisdom with us on treasure hunting, and we appreciate you doing that and giving away the books too.
Anytime, fellas. We're always happy to spend time with you and any of the other folks that are interested in this field of endeavor. So
Sure.
we look forward to seeing you all in person the next time. Let's hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm working on a thing probably for April down
Okay.
on the coast. So
All right.
I'll be letting y'all know. So
Okay.
everybody,
We'll be looking forward to it.
all right. Thanks, Sid. Tell KT we missed her. Tell Dinkum we said hello, and thank you for the giveaways.
Okay.
Philip, thank you, my friend. Thank
All right.
Jocelyn. And make sure Big Poppy is ready to rock next week with the Sazich.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, it'll be our last show of the year.
Last show of the year.
2023.
We won't be back till January the 8th.
Yep, because as you know, Christmas Day falls on a Monday and New Year's Day falls on a Monday, and most people will be napping on New Year's Day at the time for the show, so we're not going to do it.
There
So
you
anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Hopefully you will tune in next week. There'll be a number of giveaways next week,
Giveaways for sure.
and we'll be live in the shop with the Guru, myself, and Big Poppy will be here, and we're just going to have a good time and talk about Christmas specials, and you can place your orders and hopefully get it for Christmas time. So happy hunting, everybody. Thanks all for watching, and dig deeper.
Dig deeper. Happy hunting, friends.